Before the video starts, I'm going to ask you to like the video. No specific reason, just do it. So today we're going to ask and answer one simple question: should you buy Hades? As usual, it's going to be a pros and cons list, but before we start, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of what Hades is. Hades is Supergiant Games' action roguelike game based off Greek mythology, and to summarise the plot a little bit, you play as Hades' son trying to escape from hell. Basically, your dad's a dick, you want out, you want to go see your cool uncles. This game, much like other roguelike games, death is an essential part of the plot, and is used to further the story. So now that the introduction's out of the way, we're going to start off with the pros. First pro would probably be the art style. Like, look at that. Chef's kiss. The art style they went for in Hades, I actually quite enjoy, and think they did an excellent job on it. Second pro would probably be the endless replayability you can get from the game. You could have a really good run one time, get really far, and then the second run you could just get demolished by some random normal boss or monster. The main reason why I say endless replayability is because every time you play and die, when you respawn with different map layouts and different ways to approach the run. For example, every time you play you'll get different gifts from the gods, and potentially you'll be using different weapons. When you get further in the game, you can upgrade the weapons using Titan blood, and especially with the gifts from the gods, you can give yourself different abilities, and each god has a different theme to him. The third pro, I'd probably say, and Hades does it really well, is every time you speak to a character, it progresses the story a little bit more. So like the more you actually speak to certain characters, the further along in the story you'll be with them. For example as well, if you interact with certain bosses and beat them, there'll be storylines when you go back to the start, because whenever you die you go back to the start, and that's where you get to interact with most people in the game. My final pro will probably be the music, because have you listened to this? Like, are you gonna come and tell me that this is not good music? This game has some straight fucking bangers. Like, you'll start a boss fight, the intense music starts playing, it just gets you in the mood to play the game. Or when Hades is super pissed at you and he throws some dudes at you to kill, he's like shouting at you through the fucking music. It's sick, man. So I think we'll move on to the cons now. Even though it's hard to find a lot of bad things about the game, there is still some decent ones that you should probably know about before buying it. So we're going to start off with the first con, which will be, even though death is an essential part of the game, if you're not used to that kind of playstyle and you don't really like that kind of game, this probably isn't the game for you, because death is something you'll be doing a lot in the game, and if you get frustrated really easily, I don't think it would be one for you, or the monitor that you've got currently. Second con would probably be when you get to about the middle part of the game, so about 15-20 hours in, when you've unlocked the initial upgrades, the game becomes really grindy to try and find new upgrades. Like, it stops being from 10 of something to upgrade something, and then it goes to 50, and then it gets to 500, but you still earn the currency in the same capacity, so you just have to like save them up more and prioritize what you really want to buy. The third and final con I'd probably say for this game is, after a while of playing, all the experiences kind of blend into one, so you'll be doing the same moves repetitively and you'll be killing the same things over and over again, and the only real difference would probably be that the bosses interact with you differently every time. But for the like majority of the game, it starts to feel more like samey and less about like figuring new stuff out as the game goes on. But it's like that with most games, so I wouldn't really call it a con, more just something that every game kind of suffers from eventually. So I'm going to move on to my final thoughts on Hades. If you enjoy and you're familiar with roguelike games, I'd probably say that you'd enjoy it, and it's definitely worth buying. Like, the game's affordable as well. It's £20 for a game that you could probably spend like hundreds of hours replaying. It's definitely worth it. If you're not really into roguelike games, I'd still give it a try just for the story, because it's got full voice acting, the characters are fleshed out, the interactions are fresh, every single time. It's about Greek gods as well. It's quite interesting, personally. I'd say it's quite interesting. If you get frustrated easily though, like if you didn't like the fact that Dark Souls had a lot of dying in it, or if you don't like playing games that will make you like extremely angry at times, this game probably isn't for you. So personally, I'd say yes, you should buy the game. But if you really rage quite easily, I'd probably say miss out on this one. The next one will come around. So let me know in the comments below your opinions on Hades and any suggestions from future videos I could do like this. It'd be really appreciated.